So we just saw that what is on-cell edit script within ServiceNow. Okay, the form we saw, and that it works in conjunction with a particular field. Okay. Similarly, there are different other types of client script within ServiceNow. One of them is like on load, which runs whenever form is loading. Third one is when on change, whenever there is a change in field. Okay, whenever there is a change of value within a field. So when I say change of value, which means if I open one particular field, if I open my incident form, let's say any field is there, these all are what? These are different fields. If I try to make any changes on this field and something I want to do, right? Some sort of action, some alert, some sort of thing, some validation I want to do, then I will be using on change script. The last one is on submit, which runs whenever the form is submitted. So remember I told, right, that whenever the moment you fill up your form and hit save or submit button, what happens? Your client side validation, client side or browser specific validation will run first. If it passes all, then your form will get submitted. The best example is if any mandatory field is there, you leave that field blank and try to save that form. Immediately you'll get one error message that this particular field is mandatory and you are not doing that, right? Which means this is the form itself didn't got submitted. So firstly your browser validation happened and it didn't it got failed in browser validation itself, so form didn't submit it threw error to you that you have to fill in the. So now if I save this form, what will happen? Browser validation passed because I provided value for all the mandatory fields, so it got submitted. Okay, so on submit works in that way. There are multiple use cases of these different type of scripts. Whenever we when to select what type of the script, that use cases we will discuss in our upcoming sessions. Then the most important part, which I showed you, that if you want to find a client script within environment, how do you go? You can type client script in your application navigator, or you can open directly form and right click at the form header, and then right click, and then you can do configure and you can select directly client script. You will be able to get all the client scripts specific to that particular form or that particular table. Okay. So in this particular PPT, all the list of client script will come like that. Now this is one of the most important slide, because when you are writing, when you start writing client script form, there are multiple fields on that particular form. So if you see, there is something called, this is client script form, there is something called name field, there is something called table field, UI type field, field name. So these are multiple types of fields which are present on your client script form, and each field has its own purpose. Why we put some value or why we don't put some value in that particular field, it will have its own purpose. So we will check on that. Okay, so if you see the name field is just to write the name of the client script. You can give any meaningful name or purpose. What does your client script does? You can give that particular name to your client script. Okay, so this particular name field you can utilize to give any meaningful name or business requirement name. You can put like your client script, what it will do basically. The second important field is a table field. So table field will tell you on which particular table the script will execute. If you select incident table, the script will execute on incident table. If you put problem table, script will execute on problem table. Okay. Similarly, any other table, if you are selecting, the script will execute to that particular table only. It will not execute on whole system. It will execute to that specific table form only. Okay. Third important field is UI type. Now, why this UI type is important and what is this UI type? This UI type tells you which type of UI or which type of window your form is opened. So when we say desktop, your form is open in a desktop view, or your desktop, laptop desktop, your form is open. Second option, you will get something called mobile or service portal view. So if you are opening your form in mobile, there if you want this particular script to execute, you don't want this script to execute in desktop. Whenever somebody is opening that form in laptop view, it should not create any impact. Then you will be selecting only mobile/service portal view. And third is all. So let's say you want to write certain script which should execute on all the view, desktop view, laptop view, mobile view, service portal view, then you'll be selecting all. Most of the time we tend to select all because we want to ensure that consistency of form is there on any view we are opening. So whether I am viewing the same form in my laptop view or desktop view, I'm viewing the same form on my mobile or service portal view, consistency should be there. When I say consistency means, let's say incident caller is mandatory here, which means it should be mandatory across all the platforms. It should not be like when I open the form in desktop or laptop, the field is mandatory, whereas if I open the form in mobile, the field is not mandatory, right? So we want to ensure that consistency is there in order, in order to make our data look more consistent and more correct, right? So we can select all so that it remains, mandatory on all of these interfaces. Third field is description field. You can write some description regarding your client script. What does your client script function will do? Because name is a limited character field, so we'll not be able to describe more. But if you, let's say you are trying to do multiple things on your clients, you can just, for documentation purpose, you can put in here. Message is the message if you want to display via client script. Then next is application. There are two type of applications you can select within ServiceNow. One will be your global application, which is available, like anybody can call this. Okay, available for everyone within table. And then there will be certain scoped application or a specific application only. It won't be accessible outside. This part we will discuss when we are moving towards the end of our session, because this is little more complex thing. Okay, then active, if you select that checkbox as active, your script is active, it is working on the table. If you mark it as if you uncheck it, then even though it exists on incident form or let's say your problem form, but it will not create any impact because the script itself is inactive within ServiceNow. It is just like switch on, switch off, that's it. Okay, then you see something called inherited. Inherited is nothing but, if you want, like we have in our first session or second session we discussed, right? ServiceNow has something called parent-child relationship. Let's say you are writing some script on parent table and you want that same behavior should happen to child also. Let's say in my task table, which is base table or parent table of all tables, I wrote some script within ServiceNow, and eventually I want the same script to be followed across all the child table. I will select this checkbox. The moment I will select this checkbox, it will get automatically applicable for all the child table also. Okay, then there is something called global. So global is used, let's say if you want to execute this particular script in default view, or if you want to make it in a specific view. Okay, guys, give me a second, I'm getting one call. So sorry guys, so this particular field is for view specific. So let's say you want your script to execute in a particular view or default view, then you have to select global. Okay, so let me showcase what I am talking about. So if you see, my incident is currently, there is no view mentioned, which means it is up a default, but I can open this in specific views also. If you see, right, there are multiple views. How do we create this view? We will discuss. But if I want to open this form in a specific view, let's say major incident view, number of fields may reduce. Okay. So you see, number of fields got automatically reduced based on what view we have selected. Okay. So if you want, like, your script should execute in only major incident view, it should not execute in your default view, then you can uncheck that box. So if I uncheck this box, there will be another field which will be coming view. So you have to specify the view name, and then the script will only work in that particular view. It will not work in any other view. Okay. Examples we'll be seeing in upcoming sessions. And then message I already told. Script is the area where you basically write your code. Okay, so there are multiple other options like script formatter. These are multiple options: search icon, up and down arrow key, expand, documentation, save. Okay, debugger you can enable. So this is something, a script area which is provided by ServiceNow in order to write your script. So I was talking about this particular area. So if I say something like I selected Control A, and then if I wanted to put something comment, see everything got commented, right? Automatically. If I select again, if I again uncheck, unselect this, then what will happen eventually? Uh, my code gets uncommented. If I want to do certain formatting, right? So I select this and I click on format code, my code got inline. If I have to go replace certain thing, let's say I want to replace this new value with a certain old value, I can replace that. Similarly, I want to search something within my code. So I will put that value and I will hit enter and I will be able to get that value wherever. This is very simple. Some lines of code, let's say your code is some 1,000 line of code, then it will be difficult to find that one word or one particular variable. So you can use this search functionality there. If you want to traverse up and down within your code, you can use these buttons. And then let's say this is small window, you have a very large code, you can click on expand, your editor will get expanded. Okay, and then third one, this third last is a help one. Okay, and then this is save. So you can use this update button on header save button, or you can directly click on save button. And then this is like to check your syntax and all. Okay, this remains common. Only the function will be changing as per what type of script include you have selected. Okay, I believe there is one field called type which got hidden in the backend. Let me see in next slide. Yeah, so there is something called type field on your form, which is nothing, in which you have to select which type of script, client script you are going to write. For example, you are going to write on sell edit, on change, on load, or on submit. Okay, what type of script you are selecting, based upon that this additional field come or it will get hidden. So if I select on sell edit, this field is visible. Let's say if I select on load, this field get automatically hidden. Okay, let's move to the next part. So yeah, this is one simple onload script which is there as a part of your PPT. So let's say, let me show you a small demo. Uh, I want to create one client script on my incident form whenever there is form loading. So let's say I'll select here all onload. Okay, so I am going to create one script onload. So I'll select onload because whenever I want to do certain thing like onload, whenever my form is loading, I want to do. So based on what type of function you are going to select, this body, you see, right? Pre-populated function type is getting changed completely, and certain fields are also coming up or are getting hidden. If I select on submit, it becomes on submit. Function becomes on submit. If you change this to something and you let's say you select here on submit and here you put on load, the script will not execute properly. Okay, so make sure that if let's say you did something and you want to change the type of it, make sure that you are updating that onload function or on submit or on change here itself, else your function will not work. And with each type of script, there are different parameter which your service now accepts. So when I say like on selected, these are the multiple parameter which your script accepts. But whereas when you select onload, there are no parameter. So these all things we are going to discuss in upcoming sessions. Okay, so a very simple script. I want to write. I want to display some sort of alert. So let's say I want to put alert. Display alert. I want to document this thing. Display alert. So I will put alert. Alert is nothing but a JavaScript predefined function. Okay, to give alert on the form. So you can put some sort of alert. For example, underscore user. So I want to put something called my first name, whoever is that particular user. I want to display some sort of a message. So this, what is this G underscore user? How do we work with this G underscore user or G underscore form? That we are going to discuss in detail in coming sessions. So the PPT holds detail of all that. Okay. So don't worry about this part. How do I get this? What is the meaning of this function? Everything we are going to discuss. So I'm going to display just a small message that welcome to ServiceNow training. Whenever my ServiceNow incident form is loading. Okay. The brackets, you have to make sure that how much bracket you have opened, how that much bracket should be closed. So one bracket was opened, I close that bracket. Let's save this form and let's see how this particular form works. Okay. So now let me go to my incident form. This is my incident form. So let's reload this form. So you see at the top right, welcome to ServiceNow training session. System admin, because I logged in as system admin right now, so it is picking my name. So you see in this script what I have done, G underscore user, this is nothing but a global object of glide user class, okay, through which I am saying that get full name. So it will, whoever is a logged in user, so I logged in with system admin profile, so it is displaying system admin as name. So get their full name. So their full name is nothing but system admin. So that's why it is coming like welcome to ServiceNow training session system administrator. This is a very simple script, but we can write it more complex. Okay. And the moment I select OK, the alert goes away. So not just this time, any form, anything on my incident form, any ticket, if I open, this alert will keep on coming. So I hope this is clear now. What is OnLoad form? Within ServiceNow, it doesn't have any argument. This is a simple form with a set of fields as documentation purpose, what we have discussed, right?